So if we will, we'll get started with crow's beak this morning, Kaki Mudra. And it's a cleansing pranayama. Again, I'm really, the more I'm delving into this and more I'm finding, the more I'm studying, the more I'm seeing the outcome. I'm really pushing for people to work on pranayama work for their lungs, for their immune systems, for everything that's going on in the world right now. If we can keep this strong, I think it's to our benefit. So if we can find Kaki Mudra is crow's beak. So it is simply making that crow's beak with your mouth. And we'll do just like we do in Kapalabhati. It's an inhale in, and then we make that sound. Inhale, come back up. So and if you, when you're doing that crow's beak or Kaki Mudra and doing that breath work, it is, you can feel it's coming from down here. It's a diaphragmatic breath. So we're really forcing that out from low, way down low. So let's sit up nice and tall. You can sit in Vajrasana, you can sit in Sukhasana, completely your choice. Either way is comfortable for this. Nice tall spine, and then we'll do 3 rounds of it, and everybody's at a different pace, so there's not really a count. So it's an inhale deeply, exhale completely. Inhale again one more time. Inhale coming up. Inhale, come up. Last round. And inhale when you're done coming up. So it's just that beautiful breath work that we have to keep our lungs clear, keep that diaphragmatic stuff going on, and getting stuff that stays stagnant out of the lower lobe. So this morning with our tapas, if we would find a comfortable seat, we'll begin our warm-up seated this morning and our check-in with our breath this morning. And sitting with a tall spine in Sukhasana. We want to maybe just take our right shoulder or right arm, just bring it across our chest and get the left hand behind that shoulder just a little bit and just stretch. Find a little movement maybe in that wrist. Bring the right hand out long, press the palm away from you and find the fingertips here and just draw the fingertips back. Feel that stretch through the forearm, through the fingers, to the back side of the wrist. This is great for carpal tunnel. Then flip the fingers downwards towards the floor and bring our fingers down. Nice. Take a few breaths here. And release, shake it out. Move that arm a little bit. And then we'll repeat the same process on the other side. So if we find ourselves on the other side, bringing the fingers back towards the face. Nice big stretch through that forearm and then down towards the floor, getting the top part of the arm and the top part of the wrist. And then bring that left shoulder across the body here to spine the shoulder. Take a few breaths. And then bring the right arm across one more time. Take the elbow and we're going to lay elbow to elbow here and just find Nice little bend. This will pull that shoulder a little bit more. We're going to draw the shoulder back because it tends to want to bring us forward. Draw the shoulder back. Take a few breaths. And then switch it out. Opposite arm, elbow to elbow, and just find that stretch. Breathe. And then release. And just shake the arms. We're going to shake everything out. Create a little bit of prana in the body movement, but shaking the arms, shaking the fingers, the wrists, the hands. Just making some movements to get our shoulders warmed up. Maybe roll those shoulders around a bit. So tapas is one of the niyamas, and it's that place of discipline for us. So coming back to remembering all those things that are so good for us in yoga and staying disciplined to do things. Staying disciplined to get on our mat, staying disciplined to doing so many things in our life. But it also has other forms we'll talk about today. But before we get into anything further, I would love for us to just take a moment and just as we sit tall, breathe. Note your breathing pattern this morning. Close the eyes, let the shoulders slip down the back, shoulder blades, lift your heart. Just note your breathing. Note how a full inhale feels deep down into the lower lobe. Maybe count it this morning. Where are you with that breath? Note your exhale. Are they of the same count? Can we balance them out? Notice how we feel after we take 3 or 4 deep rounds of breath. Instead of finding that shallow part of the breath. Nice. And then slowly we're going to lie back on our backs before we come back to a seat and work on a few warm-ups for the hips. So coming back to our backs and lying down. And just playing with maybe Apanasana this morning, just checking in with your hips. Make those large circles and small circles. Noticing the low back come up off the mat a little bit when we bring our knees in, they flatten out. Noticing the different positions. Noticing the little sticky spots. And then drawing both knees in nice and snug to the body. Maybe taking them as wide, maybe out towards the armpits. Feeling the low back. Maybe finding happy baby. So maybe coming up to the soles of the feet from here. Maybe behind the thighs, maybe behind the knees. Just finding that gentle press down to the earth. Find your edge, stay with it, and breathe. Let's draw the right knee into the chest, extend the left leg out long. And again, maybe find that little movement in the ankle, waking up the ankle joints. Maybe waking up that quad. Foot flexed on the left. So we're firing up that left leg a little bit. Contracting the muscles, noticing all the muscles in the left leg that it takes to flex that left foot. One more big inhale and exhale here. Half happy baby. See if we can find the sole of that right foot or behind the right knee. If it's comfortable, keep the left leg extended and the foot flexed. We're going to get a little different stretch on the inner groin area of the right thigh because we're really finding the way down towards the earth with the right knee. So keep that left leg extended if you can. If it's too uncomfortable, you're okay to go ahead and bend it. You might find even a little more space to get that right knee down onto the earth and slowly walk that left foot out. Get a nice groin stretch here, getting into that right hip. Making sure we want to keep that left hip grounded. Release. Find a circle or two in either direction. And then switch it out. Left knee comes into the chest. Maybe find a little circle with that left ankle. Keep the right leg active and strong. Right foot flexed. Maybe finding happy baby on the left side. Again, checking in. Our hips are so very different on either side of our body sometimes. Just drawing that knee down towards the earth. If you'd like to bend the right knee, maybe finding a little more room, we can bring that knee right down to the earth and taking the time to scooch that right leg out long again, anchoring it. Getting a nice big groin stretch here, working on the left hip. And then release, draw it back into the body one more time. And then if you choose, you can rock your way up to a seated position or roll to your side. Either way is fine. We're going to come up to that comfortable seat. And we're going to find fire log. So it is we're going to take the left foot and place it down in front of us so that it is parallel to the short edge of our mat. We're going to bring the right leg and just cradle it a little bit across the body. Again, get some movement. We're doing an external rotation of that quad. The whole femur is externally rotating outwards. Just take a moment, cradle it, get a little movement here, and then we're going to lay it right on top of that left shin. You notice there's a gap here between my right leg and my left foot. That sometimes settles and goes away, but sometimes it doesn't. So if you need a blanket or a block to tuck in there to get rid of that space, by all means, tuck something in. We want it supported. We want to sit up tall here again. Find length to the spine. Tuck the chin slightly. Hands out in front of us, reminding us to stay nice and long with our spine. You're going to feel a nice little tug up the back right side of the glute. This is great for sciatica. Any hip issues, to open up those hips. We want to pause, take a few breaths with this. Maybe we can walk it out even deeper for our body. Choice is yours, walking it out as far as is comfortable for you. When you've found your edge of resistance here, let the head and the neck round down. Pausing right there, taking the deep breaths that you need. The deeper the breath, balancing out the inhale and the exhale. Takes tapas to sit with this. It is that space where we come to our edge. It's that space where we find discipline in our practice to sit with it and sit with the breath. And interestingly enough, tapas, the third of the niyamas, is derived from the root Sanskrit verb tap, which means to burn, and evokes a sense of fiery discipline or passion. So to burn, to sit with that which we are uncomfortable with in this practice. Cultivating patience, cultivating tolerance. So tapas can mean cultivating that sense of self-discipline, even sitting in the most uncomfortable of places, burning away impurities physically, mentally, and emotionally, paving the way to our true greatness. So tapas has a lot to do with to burn, our digestive system as well. Three more deep breaths if you can here. Maybe sink a little deeper. Note where you've clenched your right glute. Note where you've clenched maybe somewhere else in your body. And see if you can find a way to release whatever muscle it is that you've clenched or whatever it is you're hanging on to through breath work. Maybe ujjayi today to help with that fire. Give yourself one more deep round of breath here. And then slowly, very carefully, when you're ready, core engaged, fingers walk up the mat. We want to be very gentle in taking that foot. We can pick it up with our right hands, baby it, cradle it, extend it out long in front of you. Take the left leg out long and shake them out. So just in between a few of those seated jatis for the legs, just taking the feet back and forth and bouncing the knees if it's available to you up and down. Nice. So we're going to come at the other side. So our right leg is going to sit, remember, short edge of the mat, parallel to that end. And we're going to bring the left leg up. The minute we do that, we tend to come backwards. Sit up tall. Even sitting up tall and reminding yourself to cradle that leg, we get that nice stretch in the outer hip flexor, IT band area. Just a little movement. And then when you're ready, place shin to shin, or calf to calf, I should say. And noting one side may be different. I'm good with this side. I don't have that gap to fill today on this side. Changes daily. But just sit forward a bit. Hands can come out in front of you. Note immediately up through that left glute, you get a little fire, a little burn. Maybe come forward. See how it feels in your body to move even deeper. If you're someone who likes to watch television and sitting in the floor, this is a great little exercise to do. Not a big TV person, but something if somebody's sitting in the floor, it's a reminder to bring your body to these places and push them a little bit. Find your edge again. Let the head, neck, and shoulders come forward. And breathe. And again, note your breath. So we've changed the position completely of our body. By coming forward, we've changed the position of our lungs. So breathe deeply into that space of the lungs. Tapas is that energy that gets our heart pumping, reminds us to grow. Tapas is that aspect of our inner wisdom that encourages us to practice even when we don't feel like it. To jump on your mat and close your eyes and meditate even when we don't feel like it. We know how we feel when we're done with our practice, but it's so hard to get us here. Tapas is that place of burning away those thoughts that creep in sometimes. Tapas is the discipline or the reminder we should go to bed a little earlier or get up a little earlier. 3 more deep breaths, ladies. Lots of forward bends in this one. Lots of things to do with Manipura chakra, our fire. Slowly, when you're ready, after that third and final breath, walk it up. Sit nice and tall, very gently picking that leg up and again, extending it out long. Take a few movements, bounce the knees, maybe move the legs from side to side. So from here, we're going to move into another forward fold, Paschimottanasana. So I'd like for us to come at it though from Dandasana. So seated tall in Dandasana. If I can get the dog off my yoga mat over here for me. Seated nice and tall again, just check in with the spine. When we draw the toes back towards the face and flex through the ankles, we notice all the muscles that it takes to cause that flexion to happen. Bring the feet back towards the face, sit up tall. How many muscles is it taking for us to sit up tall? How many muscles does it take in the body to lift the spine, lower the shoulder blades? Gentle tuck of the chin, pause here. Take those deep breaths. We've got a beautiful space now to breathe deeply along the spine. On more deep, even round of breath. Looking good, ladies. And so for Paschimottanasana, since we're going to be in it for a few moments, testing our own discipline, we can bring a blanket and roll a blanket up if we choose under the knees for softness. We can bring a blanket up on top of the knees so that we have something to rest our head when we come forward. We can also come into a place where we can tuck our arms, and I'm going to teach you this way today. We can come into a place where we scooch the feet out slowly, inching our way down and then releasing. So lots of options here, but I'd like for us to start out ready with whatever props that you might need. Sit up tall, soft knees. Inhale the arms all the way up. Take that nice big reach. Exhale, come forward just enough to find that first edge and pause with it. We're going to inhale again, come all the way back up. Reach long again through the spine, the shoulders, the arms. Come forward one more time. Last time, inhale, come all the way up. Deep breath in, reach all the way out. Take the arms and maybe wrap them. Find your elbows underneath the thighs. So maybe we start out here with wherever our body connects with the thighs. We walk it out. Taking our time to stretch the backside of the body. When you find that space of comfort, maybe come out, bring the hands down on either side of the legs, the calves. Maybe we find the feet. Either place for you, roll your head forward when you hit that edge and breathe. Let your head, your neck find softness here. So we know that when we are in control of our digestive system through discipline, knowing what to eat, what not to eat, what's irritating to our bodies and our bellies and what is not, we're controlling our digestion, we're controlling our fire. When we practice yoga with tapas, discipline, we're doing the same. We're controlling our own internal personal fire. Takes work, but we are controlling the breath, the body, the mind, burning away any impurities in the body. So not only is tapas discipline, but it's mastering our own energy. Give yourself a few more deep breaths here. Again, lots of work going on internally in our digestive area. Lots of work going on in our heads, maybe as well. Through discipline, creating the fire to burn away what no longer serves us in life. So we can move on to the next chapter. When you are ready, 3 deep breaths just when you think you've had enough. Take 3 more deep breaths. You've got this. It's not an easy place to sit in Paschimottanasana. That time that we look inward here as well. On that last breath, being very mindful, very gentle. We've been here for a while. Fingertips on the sides of the mat, slowly coming up, one vertebrae at a time. Gently bringing the head up last. So we're going to take a moment to work on the neck for just a moment and just take a few movements since we've been down for a minute. We're going to take our chin and we're going to draw it over to the left and tilt the chin down to the left armpit area or shoulder area. Walk the fingertips out on the right arm a little bit. Feel the stretch up the right side of the neck. Find a few deep breaths. We have laptop neck. So staying disciplined even to maybe shut that laptop off a couple hours early in the evenings. Take our neck back to center, looking up, gaze comes up, open up the throat, breathe into Vishuddha, parathyroid, thyroid area. Being very gentle with the neck, slowly draw the chin back down to center. We're going to take it to the right this time. Once we've taken our head to the right, draw the chin downward. Walk the left hand out. Stretch and breathe. And then coming back to center. So our next posture today is going to be Gomukhasana. So another one where we get into the hips and the shoulders. So the first time we're going to take that left knee under the right. And I want you to bring the right leg back as far as is comfortable. We want to make sure that the right glute doesn't pop up off the earth. So if we need to take the leg out a little bit, that's fine. But I want to make sure that we are well balanced in our hips, able to sit tall and feel supported. So our right arm is going to come up behind our backs. And we're just going to pause here with this, maybe placing the right hand down between the shoulder blades. Inhale the left arm up and just find a little pressure here, just a slight amount of pressure. Remember, we don't want to drop our chin. We want to sit tall. If it's available, sweep the left hand all the way around behind your back. Maybe we connect the fingers. Maybe not, and that's all right. We want to sit nice and tall this way. Take a few breaths here. If it's available, start again to come forward. Remember, don't collapse. We want to stay nice and long through the spine. So use your head as that reminder on the inner right arm to keep that arm open. Come forward. We're going to get a nice stretch all the way up the right glute, all the way up the right side of the body, through the right shoulder, on up into that elbow. Pause with this. If we have shoulder injuries, feel free to interlace the fingers behind the body if that's better for your shoulders, and come forward and lift the arms up off the back. Discipline is different than modifying for your body. Using tapas to be consistent in our practice, but also note the modifications we need to take care of our body. Discipline doesn't mean to put us through torturous asana poses just to make sure I do my yoga. So breathe here, long, slow, deep breaths. When we work here in Manipura, with that energy center, that chakra governs our sense of self-confidence, inner strength, willpower, self-discipline. And its element is fire. It's also the element of transformation. Transformation only can happen when we allow change, stepping outside of our comfort zone. And we only learn to do that through discipline. Slowly, ladies, inhale, come all the way up. We want to be gentle here. Undo the arms, take the arms out, give yourself a big hug. Right arm over left, lift the elbows, massage the shoulders. Maybe coming at it the opposite way, reverse that hug, massage the shoulders. This too is another way to go into this if you choose and have shoulder issues. We can come right over top, hook the elbows. So either way works for you. Try different ways. Extend the legs out long, shake them out. We're going to slip the right leg under first this time, the left leg on the top. And again, nestle the sit bones down to the earth. See what works. Where do your legs need to be? Find the length to the spine. Inhale the left arm up. Place the left hand down between the shoulder blades. Inhale, right arm comes up and give a little nudge here. See how it feels. By all means, if you choose to do something different like this, feel free, but stretch this out first. We've got to get a nice stretch in that left shoulder if we can. If you're going to wrap the right hand around, bring it up behind you, feel free at this point. Sometimes it's nice to grab a strap if you can't quite connect the hands. If you're going to move into something different, please do so. Inhale, create the length. Exhale, start to sit forward. And again, breathe. Notice all the places in your body that you have tensed up. Find discipline. Again, tapas, breathe, let go, Find the ability to relax in difficult places. The more research I did on tapas, the more I feel it's probably one of the most important niyamas of all to keep us on track and keep us on the right path. Our legs are giving us issues. We can always find Sukhasana and work the same with the shoulders coming forward. Either place, breathe. Find a sense of ease here if it's possible. Remembering to work with this element of fire, with love, positivity. Otherwise, it just instills fear in the body. And then slowly working your way all the way up. Nice, slow, easy coming up. There's a lot of forward folds today. Testing ourselves a little bit. Lots of work in Manipura. So we want to do the same thing. We want to give ourselves that hug. Massage the shoulders a bit. Switch it out. Find the opposite side. Release the legs. Extend the legs. Shake them out. What I'd like for us to do from here is come into Barmanasana this morning. So we're going to just find a couple cat-cows with the body. Just find that exhale, rounding out the spine. Inhale, softening the belly. Make sure that our hands are spread nice and wide below the shoulders, knees under the hips. Maybe sway the hips back and forth. Just checking in. What feels good? What do you need? We've been seated for a little bit. We've got two more postures that I'd like for us to move through. So taking the right leg, we're going to stretch it out behind us for a moment and bring your prop with you if you need. Our right knee is going to come up behind. So we're going to move into pigeon. So the right knee behind the right elbow. We're going to take the left foot and walk the toes out. We get that nice stretch. We want to make sure that we are solid on the ground. If your right glute is not sitting on the ground, take a blanket or a bolster, tuck underneath. I'm going to demo for you on the other side so that you can see what I'm saying. What happens often in pigeon is we walk it out, find that we can sit down. Well, we sit down. When we sit down, we shift our whole low back. If our hips do not hit the ground, and mine do, I can get to that place without dumping over my spine. So we can sit comfortably. A lot of people have a struggle in getting this down. So just tuck a blanket under the edge. We want our hips square and supported and balanced. So before dropping into this, we want to take our fingers, walk back, find that nice little back bend maybe. And then slowly come down, rest our third eye on our forearms. So breathe here deeply into pigeon. Noting what thoughts might come up for you this morning. As we've talked about discipline, where can you learn a little more self-love, self-care? Where can you bring discipline into your life to make sure Let you take care of yourself. 3 more deep breaths. Letting go of any tension. Relaxing the glutes, softening the body where it's needed. Hands below the shoulders. Slowly walking it back up. Come back to Barmanasana. Maybe take a moment to take that right hip, make a big circle, bring the knee up towards the arm, take it back. Just find a little movement. And then we're going to find the opposite side. So the left knee comes in behind that left wrist. Take time to walk the right leg back. We really want to be able to walk it back as far as we can, finding our space here for our hips to be square. Walk the fingers up, find that beautiful back bend, gaze comes up, and then slowly lower yourself all the way down. Visualize drawing that left hip back even a little bit further. Note that when you send your energy in that visual, you cause a little more tension in that left hip to just pull it back just a slight bit further. Breathe and release any tension you've created. Long, beautiful breaths here. What does tapas mean to you? Give yourself just a few more deep breaths. Very slowly, hands below the shoulders. Coming up, working that left hip out. Bend the knee from Varmanasana. Maybe take a few big circles. Get into that hip a little bit. We're going to come back to a seat. And I would like for us to try, we're going to again wring out that digestive fire. We're going to nourish the spinal nerves a little bit in Jatara Parivartanasana, so JP twist, but I want to try it, show it to you a little differently, and make sure that you have room around you. But I will show you how I'd like us to try today. So if we, then I'll walk you through it. We shift our hips over to the right, of course. Our left hand is out long. We're going to be reaching for with our right foot over to the left hand, if possible. If this, and then taking the right arm, coming back, opening up the body, laying just like this. If this is not something that's comfortable for you, by all means, we can come into it the normal way or typical way that we do by dropping both knees over to the left. But I'd like for us to try this, doing some research. This way of doing this adds a little more compression to the belly, allows for the body to open up a little more in the upper body. So if you're game to try something outside the box, lying down on your mat, shift your hips over to the right just slightly. Extend your arms out long in a T. We're going to bring our right leg up and place our right leg or right toes as close to our left hand as we possibly can. If that's not comfortable for you, by all means, take the knees, drop both of the knees over to the left side body. Bring the left hand on top of the right knee. And breathe. Long, deep, beautiful breaths to the body, please. If you walk away from today with nothing more than discipline in your breath work, you will make me happy. Learn to breathe. Learn to bring in beautiful energy to your lungs. Give yourself 3 or 4 more beautiful deep breaths. Inhale your head slowly to center. Scoop the legs up from the left side, draw them back to the middle of your mat. Maybe take the knees into the chest, find that squeeze. Take a big cat stretch, stretch it out nice and long. Arms overhead, lengthen through the feet. And then bring your arms out into that T. Lift the hips, slide them to the left. If you choose, bring the knees to the right or bring your left foot up towards your right hand. Open back up. Breathe deeply through the chest all the way down into Manipura. One more deep, deep breath in. Head back to center. Scoop the legs up from the right side body and slowly bring them back into midline. Slide your hips back to center. Give yourself a squeeze if you need any last little movements that your body might need before we settle into Shavasana for the last few moments. Find a pillow if you choose, a blanket under the head, if at all possible. Stretching out long on your mat. Take 3 deep breaths in and out of the body, maybe even open mouth exhales. Just letting your body go a little deeper. Find a sense of peace and ease. Noting the energies that we have in the body. We have the energy of fire, the energy of water, the energy of the earth, the energy of air, the energy of space, all the elements. How can we use tapas to master those elements at work in our bodies? Starting this morning to deepen your breath. Find those gentle movements in the fingers, the toes. Take a stretch if you need and roll to your left side this morning. Pause here, making a nest for your head to lie in. Set an intention of tapas today. Something that reminds you to take this discipline, this practice off the mat into your life every day. I have a quote for you by Emily Marushin. Energy is the currency of the universe. When you pay attention to something, you buy that experience. So when you allow your consciousness to focus on someone or something that annoys you, you feed it your energy and it reciprocates the experience of being annoyed. Be selective in your focus because your attention feeds the energy of it and keeps it alive. Not just within you, but in the collective consciousness as well. Master your energy through tapas. Coming to a comfortable seat as we close today. Bringing our hands in at our heart space this morning and just bowing our heads, finding a smile on our lips and allowing ourselves to find some peace inside, knowing we've taken the time this morning to take care of ourselves, to breathe, to practice, to study, to learn. Thank you, ladies, so very much for joining me. Always such a wonderful Friday to have you guys in class learning, allowing me to teach and guide. I honor each of you in your practice. In love, light, and awareness. Namaste.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a